What if I told you that the woman I married, the woman I shared my entire life with for 3 years, never existed? That her name wasn't real, her past wasn't real, and that she was part of an international crime syndicate that used me to steal $340 million in cryptocurrency? I'm Daniel Ashford. 2 years ago, I was on top of the world, founder of a successful crypto exchange, married to the woman of my dreams, living in a penthouse in Manhattan. Today, I'm testifying in federal court against the woman I loved, who turned out to be one of the most wanted cybercriminals in the world. This is the story of how I fell in love with a ghost and lost everything in the process. Hit subscribe, because this story will make you question everything you think you know about the people in your life. I met ELENA in the summer of 2021 at a tech conference in Miami. I was giving a keynote speech about the future of cryptocurrency, and she was in the front row, asking the smartest questions I'd heard all day. After the panel, she approached me at the networking reception. "Daniel Ashford," she said with this incredible smile. "That was brilliant. You actually understand the regulatory challenges nobody else wants to talk about." She was stunning, not in an obvious way, but in this elegant, intelligent way that made you want to know everything about her. Dark hair, sharp eyes, and this confidence that wasn't arrogance. It was genuine. "Elena Volkov," she introduced herself. "I'm a financial consultant from London. I work with blockchain startups on compliance and risk management." We talked for 3 hours. About crypto, about regulation, about philosophy and art, and everything in between. By the end of the night, I asked for her number. She hesitated, just for a second. "I don't usually mix business with pleasure." "Good thing I'm terrible at following rules," I said. She laughed and gave me her number. We started dating long distance. She'd fly to New York, I'd fly to London. Every conversation was electric. She understood my world in a way nobody else ever had. She challenged me, made me think deeper, pushed me to be better. 6 months later, I proposed on a rooftop in Paris. She cried and said yes. We got married in a small ceremony in the Hamptons. Just close friends and family. "Elena's parents couldn't make it from Russia," she said. "They were elderly and couldn't travel." I understood. We video called them during the reception. I can still see her in that wedding dress, looking at me with those eyes, saying, "I do." Every single moment was a lie. After the wedding, ELENA moved to New York permanently. She said she was starting a consulting firm and could work from anywhere. She set up a home office in our apartment and seemed to be thriving. My company, CryptoSecure, was growing exponentially. We were one of the top 10 cryptocurrency exchanges in the US, processing over $1 billion in transactions monthly. I was working 18-hour days, and ELENA was my rock. She'd bring me coffee at midnight when I was still coding. She'd listen to my stress about regulatory compliance. She'd give insights that actually helped me solve problems. "You need better two-factor authentication," she said one night, looking over my shoulder at some security protocols. "If I can spot the vulnerability in 30 seconds, so can hackers." "You're right," I said, kissing her forehead. "What would I do without you?" "Probably get hacked," she said with that smile. God, I was so blind. ELENA started getting more involved with the business. Not officially. She wasn't an employee, but she'd attend meetings, offer strategic advice, help me think through technical problems. "You should upgrade your cold storage system," she suggested one day. "The quantum encryption technology is advancing. You need to future-proof." I trusted her completely. She was my wife. She was brilliant, and everything she suggested made sense. So I gave her access to things I shouldn't have. Technical documentation, security protocols, administrative passwords. "Just so you can help me when I'm stuck," I'd say. She'd smile. "Of course, honey. That's what I'm here for." In early 2023, I decided to implement a major security upgrade for CryptoSecure. ELENA helped me plan it. We'd migrate all our assets to a new, state-of-the-art cold storage system over a weekend when trading volume was lowest. "I'll stay up with you," ELENA said. "We'll do it together." I remember thinking how lucky I was. How many guys have a wife who understands blockchain security and wants to spend her weekend helping with a crypto migration? That weekend, we transferred $340 million worth of various cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and others, into the new cold storage wallets. The migration completed Sunday night at 11:47 p.m. ELENA and I celebrated with champagne. "To crypto secure," she said, raising her glass. "The most secure exchange in America." We clinked glasses. 48 hours later, every single wallet was empty. I discovered it on Tuesday morning. I was running a routine audit when I noticed the cold storage balances were all showing zero. My first thought was a display error, a bug in the system. I checked the blockchain directly. Empty. All of it. Gone. I ran to ELENA's office. She was on a video call. "ELENA, something's wrong. I need you right now." She ended the call immediately. "What is it?" "The cold storage. Everything's gone. $340 million. I don't understand." Her face went white. "That's impossible. We just migrated it. Check the wallet addresses." I pulled up the transaction history. The assets had been moved. All of them, to external wallets I didn't recognize. In a series of automated transactions that started at 3:17 a.m. Monday morning, about 4 hours after we'd completed the migration. "Someone hacked us," ELENA said, her voice shaking. "Oh my God, Daniel. Someone hacked us." I called our head of security, then our CTO, then the FBI. Within 6 hours, my apartment was full of federal agents. Special Agent Chen from the FBI's Cybercrimes Division took over my dining room table. "Mr. Ashford, talk me through the migration process. Who had access to the new wallet infrastructure?" "Just me. I designed it personally. The private keys were generated on an air-gapped computer that never touched the internet." "Where is that computer now?" "In my safe. It hasn't been moved since Sunday." "Can you bring it to me?" I opened the safe. The laptop was there, but something was wrong. There was a tiny scratch on the corner that I didn't remember. I handed it to Agent Chen. They took it to their lab. 3 hours later, Agent Chen called me into a private room. His face was grim. "Mr. Ashford, this computer has been compromised. There's a hardware keylogger installed on the motherboard. Military grade. Probably installed in the last 72 hours. My stomach dropped. "That's impossible. The safe requires both a key and a biometric scan. Only 2 people have access." "Who's the other person?" "My wife." "But she would never." Agent Chen pulled out a tablet. "Mr. Ashford, I need to show you something. We ran the wallet addresses where your assets were sent. They've been linked to a series of cybercrimes dating back 5 years. Money laundering, ransomware payments, dark web transactions. We've been trying to track the owners of these wallets for years." He showed me a file. Photos.
Surveillance image.
Financial records. One of the suspected operators of this criminal network is a woman who goes by multiple aliases. Katia Volkov, Maria Petrov,
Elena Sokolov.
He showed me a photo. It was ELENA, my ELENA, but younger, different hair, different style. This woman is suspected of being part of a Russian cybercrime organization called the Red Chain. They specialize in cryptocurrency theft and have stolen an estimated $2 billion worldwide. Couldn't breathe.
No.
That's not. ELENA is a financial consultant. She's my wife. Mr. Ashford, there is no ELENA Volkov registered as a financial consultant in London. The consulting firm she claimed to work for doesn't exist. Her UK visa was obtained using forged documents. And the parents you video called at your wedding? We believe they were actors. The room was spinning. 2 days ago, ELENA Volkov, or whatever her real name is, boarded a private flight to Moscow. She hasn't been seen since. The FBI investigation uncovered everything. The truth was so much worse than I could have imagined. ELENA, if that was even her real name, had been surveilling me for months before we met at that conference. The Red Chain had identified CryptoSecure as a target, and they needed inside access. So they sent their best operative. Everything was planned. The chance meeting. The intelligent questions that would catch my attention. The long-distance romance that made every moment feel precious. The reluctant hesitation before giving me her number, all calculated to make me chase her. The wedding. The marriage. 3 years of my life. All of it was an operation. The FBI found the apartment she'd rented in Manhattan before we ever met. Full of files about me, about my company, about my routines. Photos of me taken from a distance. Notes about my habits, my friends, my weaknesses. They found evidence that she'd been drugging me. Nothing dangerous, just mild sedatives in my evening tea that made me sleep more deeply. Deep enough that she could access my safe in the middle of the night, install the keylogger, and I'd never wake up. The vulnerability she'd pointed out in our security system? She'd created it. The upgrades she'd suggested? They all made the eventual heist easier. Every intimate moment, every conversation, every "I love you." It was all part of the con. The Red Chain had stolen $340 million, and I'd handed them the keys. But here's the part that broke me. Agent Chun pulled me aside about a month into the investigation. "Daniel, there's something else you should know. We've been analyzing Elena's behavior, her patterns. And there are some inconsistencies." "What do you mean?" "In most of these operations, the operative disappears the moment the heist is complete. But Elena stayed. She stayed for 48 hours after the migration. She was there when you discovered the theft. She could have been gone before you ever knew what happened. So we think she hesitated. The psychological profile suggests she may have developed feelings. Real ones. It happens sometimes in long-term undercover operations. The operative starts to lose sight of what's real and what's the cover." I laughed bitterly. "You're saying she loved me?" "I'm saying it's possible she struggled with what she was doing. It doesn't excuse it, but it might explain the delay." I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to believe that somewhere in that ocean of lies, there might have been a drop of truth. 6 months after Elena disappeared, I got an email. Encrypted, routed through dozens of servers, untraceable. The subject line, "I'm sorry. I should have deleted it. Should have forwarded it to the FBI immediately. But I opened it. Daniel, I know you hate me. You should. Everything I'm about to say will sound like excuses, and maybe that's all they are. I was recruited by the Red Chain when I was 17. I was broke, desperate, and they offered me a way out of poverty. By the time I understood what they really were, I was in too deep. They don't let you leave. You know too much. When they told me about you, about the job, I said yes because I had no choice. That's what I told myself. It was just another operation. Get close, get access, get out. But then I met you, and you were kind. You were brilliant. You loved me, or at least you loved who you thought I was. And for the first time in my life, I understood what it felt like to be seen as something other than a tool. I tried to stop it. I told my handlers I couldn't do it, that we should find another target. They said if I didn't complete the operation, they'd kill you. They'd make it look like suicide and steal the assets anyway. So I made a choice. I went through with the heist, but I made sure you'd survive it. I left enough evidence to clear you with the FBI. I made sure the theft wouldn't be blamed on you. You'll rebuild, Daniel. You're strong enough. I know this doesn't fix anything. I destroyed your life, your company, your trust. I took everything from you. But I need you to know, when I said, I do at that wedding, part of me meant it. The part of me that wishes I could have been the woman you thought I was. I'm sorry for being a ghost who pretended to be real. Goodbye, Daniel. I read that email 50 times. Then I forwarded it to the FBI. Agent Chun called me. We're analyzing it now. We won't be able to trace it, but it confirms some of our theories. Do you think she meant it? Any of it? There was a long pause. Does it matter? He was right. It didn't matter. Whether she loved me or not, she still destroyed me. Intention doesn't erase action. CryptoSecure collapsed. We couldn't survive losing $340 million. Our investors sued. Our users sued. I lost everything, the company, my reputation, my savings fighting legal battles. The FBI never found ELENA. The red chain is still operating, still stealing, still destroying lives. I had to testify before Congress about cryptocurrency security. The media called me the fool who married a hacker. My face became a cautionary tale. I spent a year in therapy, trying to understand how I'd missed every red flag. How someone could fake love so convincingly. My therapist said something that stuck with me. Daniel, you didn't miss red flags. There were no flags to miss. She was a professional. She was trained to be whoever you needed her to be. This isn't your failure. This is what happens when someone weaponizes intimacy. I'm rebuilding now. Slowly. I started a cybersecurity consulting firm, helping companies protect themselves from the kind of attacks I fell victim to. I give talks about social engineering and how criminals exploit trust. I'll probably never fully trust anyone again. And I'll definitely never get married again. Sometimes, late at night, I wonder where ELENA is, what name she's using now, who she's pretending to be, if there's some other fool out there falling in love with a ghost. And sometimes, I hate myself for this. I wonder if any of it was real, if somewhere behind the lies, there was a real person who wished she could have chosen differently. But then I remember, the person I loved never existed. ELENA Volkov was a character in a play I didn't know I was watching. You can't mourn someone who was never real. So that's my story. I married a woman who didn't exist and lost $340 million to one of the world's most sophisticated cybercrime organizations. Here's what I learned. Love makes you vulnerable. Trust makes you blind. And sometimes the people who seem too perfect really are too good to be true. If someone seems to understand you perfectly, to fit into your life seamlessly, to always say exactly what you need to hear, be careful. Real relationships have friction. Real people have flaws. Real love is messy. Perfect is often a red flag disguised as a blessing. I'm Daniel Ashford. If this story made you think twice about the people in your life, hit that subscribe button and share this with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, trust but verify. Always verify.